Welcome to a demonstration of collegetransfer.net, created by AcademyOne. Today, I'm going to show you some of the main functionality available to students on this system. It was developed in conjunction with the HECB in the Web Advising Pilot Project, which concluded during the summer of 2007. Bellevue Community College and the University of Washington Seattle campus participated in the project to display a proof of concept. Complete course information and course equivalency information was gathered to be added to the online database. Data was acquired by working with each institution to find the data and clean it up to remove any ambiguous data. As part of the project, student focus groups were held at BCC and feedback was gathered from students and advisors to refine the system and make it easier to navigate. You will see two interfaces being used that allow this work to be possible. The first interface is with Bellevue's Student Information System and allows students to download their coursework history. The second is with the University of Washington's Degree Audit Program and allows for prospective students to access the system and determine how close they are to achieving a degree at the university. The primary purpose of the system is to convey transfer-related information to students, as well as guide them through the process. The pilot project took place on collegetransfer.net, but a website specific to Washington, with full information regarding Washington's transfer policies and messages to students, would be possible in a statewide system. On initially navigating to the website, a student is able to view public information such as college profiles or information specific to students. They can also search for equivalencies through a basic or more advanced search accessed through the top search menu. Within the advanced search for equivalencies, a student may specify what they are looking for, such as courses from Bellevue Community College and transferring to the University of Washington Seattle campus. The student may also specify that they are looking for philosophy courses. Clicking on Search will show the student the results. The results screen shows students what courses they may take at Bellevue and how they will transfer to the University of Washington. More details about the equivalency can be found by the student rolling their mouse over the Notes icon. Students can scroll through the results or refine the search results to find exactly what they are looking for. When viewing the details of an equivalency, course descriptions are also available. If a student wants to use the courses they've taken in the past or see how their specific courses will still articulate to the University of Washington, they will need to log into the system. When a student logs into the system, they are presented with simple instructions for planning their transfer. The first step is to import their course history into the system. Step 2 prompts the student to anonymously send their course history to the University of Washington to determine how their courses will articulate if they transfer to a specific major. Step 3 encourages the student to contact their advisor so that they can receive the expert advice from people that are able to help them. Students can find all these features on the left-hand side of the screen, or they can easily begin this process by clicking on Step 1. At the course history screen, the student may manually add courses or standardized tests, but it is easier if the student selects to import their courses from their school. This presents the student with a form to enter their school ID and password at the institution they select. The first interface, with BCC, is used here. This information is securely sent to BCC, and if correct, the student's course history is sent back to collegetransfer.net for the student to use. Student IDs and passwords are not stored on the collegetransfer.net system. Instead, they are directly sent through the interface to BCC for authentication. Within seconds, the student's course history is returned and is composed of when the course was taken, the prefix, number, and title of the course, as well as credits and the final grade. All of this is supplied directly from BCC. The student may not edit this information because the source of the information is the institution's records. The student also has the option of entering courses they have taken from other institutions through the Add Courses Manually link. This feature allows students to enter courses they plan to take in the future, which, in conjunction with the Transfer Planning Guide, will help them decide what courses to enroll in next term. They can also add tests that they have taken, such as AP or CLEP tests. This enriches the student's information to provide a full snapshot of the student's course history. This will be helpful information when working with an advisor. With the student's course history now in the system, they can go directly to the next step, or go back home to review the process. Back at the home page, the process is now revised, showing when the student last updated their course history. The next step will be to use that course history and request a transfer planning guide from the University of Washington, which details how a student and their courses will articulate into a specific major at their institution. To request a new transfer planning guide, the student simply needs to select the Request a New Guide option. This will utilize the second interface I mentioned with the University of Washington. CollegeTransfer.net and the UW degree audit system sends messages back and forth to allow prospective students to access the system. After the student selects which institution they are planning to transfer to, they need to select which program they are planning to enter. They also need to indicate that they understand what data is being sent, and then they are able to request the guide. While CollegeTransfer.net and the UW degree audit system are communicating, the student sees that the transfer planning guide is still in process. If the student would like, they can configure the system to send them an email or text message when the planning guide has been completed. The student can also use this time to request additional transfer planning guides. The student may request as many as they desire and use this information to determine how the different majors will affect how their courses are accepted or how many more courses they need to take prior to graduation. After the guide has been delivered, the student may click on the link to view the guide. When viewing the guide, the student may see at a glance what requirements they have fulfilled, the green check mark, as well as the requirements that still need work, the red X's. If the student wants more information, they can look closer at the requirements that still need work and receive an indication of what they still need to take. The student can also find out how their courses will apply to this degree. If the student has entered courses they are planning to take in the future, they can find out if they will transfer or not. At this point, the student has imported their course history and discovered how their courses will articulate to a major through the transfer planning guide. Students also have the opportunity to see how different majors would affect how their courses would be accepted by running multiple transfer planning guides. The next step in the process is to share their information with someone, such as the student's advisor, that can help them understand the implications of the transfer planning guide and decide on a path to take. The student could have gone directly to the Share My Information feature, or go back home to see where they are in the transfer planning process. At the home page, the student can now see that they have received their transfer planning guide, and the next step is to share their information. To share their information, the student must click the link to share information with a new recipient. On the sharing page, the student may select a school to share their information with, or just enter an email address of someone they know. This is helpful if the student wants to share their information with their parents, friends, or mentors. The student should specify what they want to send to the recipient, such as their course history and contact information, and any transfer planning guides that they have run. The student should also include some notes to give context to the recipient. After the student has sent their information, they can see that they have not yet received a response. Now, I'll transition to how an advisor is able to view the student's information. When a student chooses to share their information, by default, the system will send an email to that individual or group, alerting them to the student's information. This provides them with a link to view the information in the system. If an advisor would like, they can turn off the emails and only use the system to view information. To do this, advisors need to log into the system where they can see a list of the students that have shared information with them. If advisors do not want to receive email alerts, they can still log into the system. Within the system, they may view any of the shared information that a student has sent by clicking on the link. This helps if an advisor has a large amount of students to work with and doesn't want to keep track of the individual emails. When an advisor views the information, they have access to whatever the student chose to share. They can expand and contract the sections to view the details. If they desire, they may also respond to the student with recommendations, answers to questions, or for a time for them to meet face-to-face. Now, looking back to the student, when an advisor responds to a student, they are able to see the response and take appropriate action. This may be changing what courses they have registered for the next term, or proceeding to apply to a particular college as a transfer student. What you have seen today is a high-level view of select features available to students on CollegeTransfer.net. The system makes relevant information available to students and allows them to begin planning their transfer. In the end, students are encouraged to work with their advisors and utilize this information so that appointments can be more efficient and accomplish more advising in the same amount of time. Thank you for your attention today.